You check where you are, and almost immediately, it doesn't feel like enough. Not because nothing is happening, not because you've done nothing, not because your life is standing still. It feels that way because something in your mind keeps saying, you should be further by now. And it rarely arrives as one big thought. It appears in smaller moments. When someone your age announces something big. When you hear an update about someone's life. When someone casually says they've finally figured things out. When you pause for a second and compare without meaning to. And that comparison is fast. So fast, sometimes you don't even catch it. But you feel the effect. Your own life suddenly looks smaller, slower, less certain, less complete than it did a moment ago. There's someone, let's call her Zara. She is moving, working, trying, figuring things out as she goes. From the outside, it looks like progress. But inside, it doesn't feel like progress. Because in her head, there's a timeline she keeps measuring herself against. By now, she thought she'd be more settled, more certain, further ahead. More there than this. So even when she moves, it feels less like progress and more like catching up. Not progressing. Recovering lost time. And that changes the emotional weight of everything. Because now every step carries pressure. Every decision feels delayed. Every quiet season feels suspicious. And nothing feels like it's happening at the right time. You might recognize this in your own life. You start something, and instead of being present with it, you're already thinking about how late you are starting. You make progress, but it doesn't land as progress. Because your mind keeps comparing it to where you think you should already be. You rest, and instead of feeling restored, you feel guilty for not doing more. You take a slower path, and your mind translates it as failure. And slowly, everything starts to feel behind. Not your effort, your position. Not your movement, your timing. And that is what becomes so exhausting. Because you are not only living your life, you are also grading it. Grading the speed. Grading the milestones. Grading whether you look on track enough. And if you sit with that for a second, you'll notice something important. That timeline you're measuring yourself against was never clearly yours. Some of it came from what you saw growing up. What a good life was supposed to look like. What age things were meant to happen. What being on track supposedly meant. Some of it came from what people expect. What they value. What makes sense to them. What they quietly project onto you. And some of it came from what you keep seeing every day. The polished updates. the life announcements, the visible wins with none of the invisible struggle around them. And over time, all of that becomes a clock in your mind. A silent one, but relentless. And one day, without even realizing it, you stop questioning the clock. You just start blaming yourself for not matching it. That is the shift. And that is where so much of the pain comes from. Because once you live under someone else's timeline, your actual life stops being enough. A real step forward feels late. A genuine win feels small. A necessary pause feels irresponsible. And your own pace starts to feel like a problem. But here's the shift. You're not behind. You're measuring your life against a timeline that was never designed for you. And when you do that, you will always feel late. Because no matter where you are, you're comparing it to something else. So the pressure does not come from your life. It comes from the timeline you're using to judge it. And the moment you really see that, something begins to loosen. You don't need to rush. You don't need to catch up. You don't need to keep proving that your life is happening quickly enough. You need to stop measuring yourself against something that keeps moving. The next time you feel that pressure, pause. Not to fix anything. Not to solve your whole life. Just to ask, whose timeline am I trying to meet right now? Let the question sit. Because that question changes the whole experience. It brings you out of automatic pressure, out of silent comparison, out of the feeling that you are somehow late to your own life. You're not late. You've just been running on a clock. That was never set by you. And the moment you stop living by that clock, your pace starts to feel like your own again.